it'll be important because, as we mentioned, those guards are very good, and they got some bigs in there that can offensive rebound as well for the Jackets.
So prime time in Atlanta. Rodney Miller, James Banks ready to jump center. Roger Ayers with the ball in hand. And off we go from McCamish Pavilion. We'll see what the defense looks like for Georgia Tech. They have played a whole lot more man defense recently, but they always change it up.
Yeah, they'll see different zones too within it. Some 1-3-1, kind of a 1-1-3. They match up out of it. It's very complicated, but right now this is straight man.
Rodney Miller on the block, scores over Banks.
Good job, a little pick and roll and replace. Miller got good position in the post. Nice job by Moses Wright to recover to his body. I mean, James Banks to recover to his body, but it's a good finish by Miller over him.
Banks, one of the starters. Moses Wright, one of the most improved players in the ACC. And then you've got that great scoring backcourt of Alvarado and Mike DeVoe, who's got it here matched up with Isaiah Wong. Jordan Usher, the USC transfer. Alvarado, got it.
Great ball movement, good drive, baseline, kick, extra pass. Alvarado, that was textbook. He didn't bring it down, Mike. He caught it right in the shot pocket, went straight up, and he needed every second to get that off clean. Now here's a zone out of a make, 1-3-1.
You said one of the few zones that this Miami starting five will face today here in Atlanta.
17 seconds of the shot clock. They haven't even moved into a scoring area until now. That's what the zones can do in the changing defense. It puts you on your heels.
Isaiah Wong way off target with the shot clock winding down.
It's a good drive by Usher, baseline. Wong kind of loses man. He's got to be there to try to pick off that pass. Good extra pass by DeVoe, and Likes was there to contest, but at 5'7", sometimes his contest leaves little to be desired.
You said Alvarado quick on the release and very quick to strum that guitar when he sinks a three. That's been the move all season.
I don't think Jim Larinaga likes any of that music that he's playing, though.
There's DeVoe on the drive. And they call traveling on DeVoe.
And Coach Larinaga told us before the game, and as a former player, you're aware of this, you don't see changing defenses a lot. So whenever they've only seen it in terms of practice just this week. You don't work on it a ton. If a team plays zone like Syracuse, you work on that zone. Very rarely do you play against teams that switch so much. So you don't see it. You've got to be aware of it. You've got to diagnose what it is and then get right into attacking. Otherwise, they win. They have you on your heels.
So as you were a guy in the backcourt, what are you thinking coming up to court, looking at different defenses, not knowing what it might be?
As soon as you see it, when you're coming up, you need to diagnose what it is, know what it is, talk to your teammates, get them into something, running something right away before you cross half court. That's the key, really.
Likes got stripped, and then Alvarado at the other end had a look at it, and Wong cashes in for Miami. Couple of ball screens for Alvarado for a Georgia Tech offense that looks a whole lot different than it did earlier in the season. Keith Stone sticking with Moses Wright. Forces a tough shot, and it's secured by Miller.
Wright's got to get that reverse to get it moving. He's taken 3 and 4 and 5 dribbles 18 feet from the hoop. That is great for the team in black.
And a foul on the floor.
Thought there'd be an opportunity for the Jackets off of a turnover. Alvarado got to the lane, but Banks couldn't handle the pass, and off goes Wong, the freshman that's really broke out now, his 4th start straight. This young man, he's an electric scorer. We saw that in other games like the Virginia Tech triple overtime game, career high 27. He can really fill it up, and defensively, though, he's got much better to do. What a block by Banks.
Banks went up to meet Keith Stone. To shoot for DeVoe. Trying to wrap it around on the baseline again. And right with a cold start. Likes a deep one. Wide right, rebound DeVoe. Oh, slicing to start this game. Too strong off the window.
Good move, though. He has a couple good head fakes. The ball never left his hand, which is not ideal in an offensive set, but he is a gifted player and end up getting in the first spot.
Speaking of gifted scores, you said it, and Isaiah Wong with a fast start on the road. Back-to-back ACC Freshman of the Week honors for the rookie from Piscataway, New Jersey.
Not easy to do in this conference, man. Historically, guys that do it become pros.
Look at that found Moses Wright from James Banks.
Good interior pass, and Rodney Miller just lost sight of Wright. And that's where you want Wright shooting. That's, you don't want him necessarily taking 18, 20-footers like he did the possession before.
He's got Georgia Tech within one, about 5 minutes in here at McCamish Pavilion. And Wong with a careless turnover sends us to our first timeout.
And they have to attack these changing defenses. We've already talked about it. You've seen some man, you've seen some 1-3-1. Can't be on your heels, got to get forward and play aggressive. For Georgia Tech, Josh Pastner, first thing he said, we got to have a great start. We got to come out, we got to play well, we got to put it on these guys at home and put them down a bit. And then 5 guarding 1. This is Miami team, his 3rd fewest assist-to-made field goals in the country. They only assist on 39% of the baskets. They've got a lot of individually gifted one-on-one offensive players, like Michael DeVoe is. So if you need 5 guys to be locked in, guarding the ball, guarding one guy, it's not just one man's responsibility. Who's in help, who's helping the helper, who's in the gap, all that's got to be communicated. When you're in the zone, you got to know where the guys are as well.
And to point number 1, keep those guards out of the paint. Couldn't do it there against DeVoe. And Vasiljevic continues his cold shooting from beyond the arc after getting off to a great start this year from 3. And a blocking foul on Keith Stone.
Take a look, DeVoe going right down Broadway. Wardenberg didn't want to help, but really that is a help situation. You're not leaving a real shooter there, and Evan Cole was in the corner there. Go ahead, help off, do something, try to get a stop. And look how much better DeVoe has gotten this year. He was a good first year for him, but this year now he is one of the dynamic scorers in this league, an absolute force. You look at this roster up and down, 1 through 5, they're as good as anybody in the conference, talent-wise. It's the first time you could say that with a Georgia Tech team since Josh Pastner has been here, and they're all underclassmen. Huge for next year.
DeVoe driving again with 2 more.
Can't let him get to his left, too. He's getting downhill to his strong hand.
Yeah, what Josh Pastner said to us just moments before the game, he said, for the first time in my 4 years at Georgia Tech, we walk into every single game feeling like we've got a great chance to win it.
Yeah, good pass right there.
Auguste kept it moving for Sam Wardenberg. Auguste coming off the bench now for the Canes. Wong's got to get it up. Spinning, scooping, but not scoring. Right on the run out. Nearly brought the house down, but a foul call. Whew. Whoa.
You mentioned just about Pastner. Like, this is true. They were a lot of gimmicks, different types of offenses. They scrapped the Princeton offense this year, went with their guards, dribble drive, because they got talented dudes. Paid off.
Hey, tomorrow, number 11 Louisville and Virginia Tech. It all starts from the Yum Center, 6 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. And things are getting mighty crowded at the top of the ACC standings. And how about what just went down in Charlottesville as well?
UVA 52-50 W over Duke, so they now move into 13-5. Duke falls to 13-5. Louisville and Florida State are now at 14-4. Louisville, obviously, a huge game tomorrow against Tech. And FSU fell on the road to a Clemson team who's now beaten Duke, Louisville, and Florida State at
Crazy.
home. The Tigers, man, clearly Brad Brownell's team is a different animal at home, and we've seen it. There aren't many, they're not even on the bubble, folks. They've got to win more games. Right. They got to make a run in the tournament to get in the conversation. But there are no bubble teams that have those 3 wins. I mean, those are 3 top-notch, top 10 wins you've got under your belt now.
Those 3 wins, and yet 9-9 in the ACC, and maybe if Georgia Tech were to win today, maybe a 5-team tie at 9-9 in the ACC.
Crazy. That's a push-off. Good call there by Nathan Farrell. He was on it. Likes creating space, was off on it.
First foul on Likes. A 7-0 run here over the last couple of minutes for Georgia Tech.
There you go. Look at how Harlan Beverly's feet were at first. He had the right leg up, trying to force him right. The problem is when you put that front leg there, you're taught to attack that leg, because then if you get by him, he's got to open up his body, and now you have a driving lane. you've got a driving lane then, and this is part of the problem. You try to force him that way, you've got to be quick. You've got to make him go that direction. Don't let him attack that top leg.
Yeah, they got him to his right hand, and he missed it after scoring so much, like you said, going left. Now Jordan Usher in the mid-range. Friendly roll.
It's one of those shots when he let it go, I'm like, ooh, that's way hard. But friendly roll is right. Touched every part of the rim and backboard to get in.
Junior, who has not scored it a whole lot recently, just 9 points in his last 2 games to go along with 7 turnovers coming in. Likes kicked it off the back door, but saved it.
It's a great cut. They just couldn't execute the pass and catch.
Beverly had it pried away. Still 9 to shoot for Miami. You get Jim Larinaga with some hooligans behind him. Now in cuff, Mike Monaco, our ACC network crew. And a foul on Jordan Usher.
It's always, I mean, I like sitting behind the coaches as we get an extra airtime here, because you just give even greater insight.
Can you
hear
find the camera?
On. No, probably too slow. I got it. Oh, I got it just too late. Went off us. I'm not the quickest guy in the world. Spatial reasoning, not the best. And we needed it today. We had the marathon. The U.S. trials for the marathon were going on today, folks. 2 men, 2 women will be moving on to the Olympics in Tokyo in the summer. And it was gridlock and chaos in downtown Atlanta.
Leave as much time as possible to get the shoot around. That's the story of the day. Off the Usher turnover, Beverly on the run out, takes the bump and scores it. A chance at 3 for Harlan Beverly.
That's just not a good decision by Bubba Parham there. There's no reason to try to take. You're not going to get the charge. If you're going to make a play, swipe it that hard. Don't allow him to get an and one. Foul him hard, foul him clean. You're in a 3-on-1 situation. But there was no chance you're taking that charge. Now you've given him the and one opportunity.
So we see Beverly score it. You were talking about team defense right off the top for Miami. You were talking about Beverly defending DeVoe. And when we chatted with Jim Larinaga, he's talking about freshmen learning to play defense. And that's allowed for Wong and Beverly getting more involved.
Yeah, and when we did that, we did our game in Miami in late
New Year's
December.
Eve.
That was a Florida State game, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
You could forget. That was like December 22nd, so it was before the league season, but watching their practice, you could see Beverly and Wong, man, they are offensively gifted. But then go the other way, it was a bit of a mess. Understanding when to help, when to recover, how to guard the ball. I mean, just to play with how they're guarding ball screen action, remembering when to switch. All the things that go into being a college defender. It's really the biggest transition to playing from high school to college is A, how hard you have to play consistently, and then B, on top of that, is how to guard, how to be working into a team schematic defensively. And it took them a while, but Beverly and Wong are much better now, and their offensive capabilities now being used as well.
And it's given Miami so much more depth recently. Wardenberg throws it away.
That is a horrible entry pass.
Alvarado pulls up. Way off the mark. Banks rescues it and drops it in.
Back to the 1-3-1 again. They're almost going make-miss right now. I mean that is on a make, you go back into the zone. On the miss, you're matching up.
In the zone here off the make, with the shot clock winding down again on the Canes. Beverly on the baseline takes a bump and a foul with 4 left on the shot clock.
Today, though, that was how they hung their hat on defense. They really buckled down. I believe forced 9 turnovers in the second half. Mamadi Diakite was outstanding on Vernon Carey. Carey eventually fouled out late in the game. Jay Huff was a stud on both ends. That was an impressive win, to say the least. And that team, they might work their way up to being a 6-7 seed. But if they're where they're projected right now is 8 or 9, no 1 seed is going to want to see them in round number 2. That would be a nightmare.
Hey, the lob from Alvarado to Banks. Now Virginia was 52 in the net at the start of the day. And there they are with a fighting chance in the ACC entering the final week of the regular season.
The non-conference, they had some losses and some really bad losses that really hurt them. And Jim Larinaga trying to call timeout because, again, the 1-3-1, They did not advance the ball past third. Back in front of him, Rodney Miller didn't help up, didn't make him retreat at all. So he had one playing two, which is what you want. Two playing one is what you got. Now you know Wright's rolling to the basket. Poor defensive execution by Miami. Great vision and really good patience by Alvarado to hold the ball and wait for Wright to get open and drop off the pass.
And out of the timeout, shot clock winding down on Miami. Sam Wardenberg falling away. That rolls off. And Khalid Moore with it.
More high ball screen action, 2-play-1.
Banks went up trying to do to Harlan Beverly what he did to Hunter Tyson earlier this week.
But that's the progress in Beverly's game. Earlier in the year, he wouldn't have got there and helped side. This is a great angle. You see him, he comes over, he's a step late. He wants to meet him outside the restricted arch, but he's still there. And guess what? That was clean. That was good defense.
Left hand, he got it, you're right.
That's a good block. But he was there, and you know, months past, he wouldn't have been there. That would have been a dunk. Now he makes him earn at the line, and Wright doesn't do it. Banks doesn't do it.
Hey, Nothing But Net every Sunday, headlined by Dallin Cuff, our weekly basketball studio show.
Headline,
we preview the week. We look back at the best games from this past week, what went on in Charlottesville and Clemson. Highlights, analysis, insight only we can provide. 8 p.m. Eastern on ACCN and the ESPN app.
With Carlos Boozer, pro for almost 2 decades, Luke Hancock, most outstanding player of the 2013 National Championship team, Kelsey Riggs, an all-around stud. I'm the low-liner of that group, my friend.
You know me by now. I'm just going to keep going to the well with that when I read that promo. 9-point Georgia Tech lead after a split from Banks. Good interior passing to find Wardenberg.
That's where you want to attack the 1-3-1. The corners, the short corners, and at times you can get it right in the elbow area, and you can turn and you can face and you can operate. That's key, but they have not been able to do that at all. Great block by Wong.
Got Bubba Parham, and then Alvarado got from behind on Wong. Right. Fouled on the way up by Miller.
Hurricanes foul charge to number 14, Rodney Miller Jr. It's first.
Take a look through the 1-3-1. This is the best possession they've had. They get it to they get it down to that short corner. Good interior passing. Parham as the weak side guard on the 3, the 1-3-1. You're supposed to drop and protect when the ball's on the opposite side of you. He's a step late. Miller recognized it. And also, obviously, if you're throwing it to 2 bigs, there's not much Bubba Parham at 6 feet tall is going to do sometimes when they throw it that high. But that's Miami. He's got to do more. There's got to be penetration of that zone off the bounce or off the pass. It's a fallacy that you can't break down the zone on the dribble. You can. You got to get into the gaps.
Gaps, short corner, the logo. What else are the hot spots
against this 1-3-1? Sometimes you want to get it if you can get into the elbow. Right there, Flights can stop and turn and present himself, especially how Georgia Tech play it. Sometimes they vacate the middle. Nice job by Wardenberg. Look to assess.
Now Miller backing down Banks. Turned out of a double and scores.
Rodney Miller really struggles to go over his right shoulder and his left hand. You can see that's why Banks is playing him there, but he did. He got the pivot back to that other hand, and good finish by the big fella.
Redshirt junior from Queens. Right, lays it in.
Great feed by DeVoe. I do think he may have got away with a little extra step there. To your point, is you so you know
I motion with
politically
my hands
to the hand motion. You can just yell
to prompt you into discussion.
It's a good teammate, Monaco Mike here, folks. He summers in Monaco.
Yes, if only. Wardenberg off the shot fake. Bit too firm, and Banks goes up aggressively for the rebound. Too hot to handle for Moses Wright from Mike DeVoe.
Nice job by DeVoe. Good ball fake, gets Beverly in the air. And Wardenberg just totally lost sight of his man, Moses Wright. He had his back to Wright cut right down the middle. Even when there's a drive, you still have to keep awareness. A ball you man. You can't just turn your head like that. Turn your head, you're supposed to cut, just like Wright did.
And so a 9-point margin for Josh Pastner's team. Again, trying to get to 9 ACC wins and trying to get to 500. A couple of things that haven't been done here in Atlanta in quite some time. Keith Stone, quick trigger. And Banks another rebound. Alvarado knifing.
That'll kill a coach. I mean, that'll kill Coach Larinaga. Rodney Miller comes out at first to make him to retreat for a second, but then there's nobody to step up and actually stopped the ball. Beverly was on him, and there was zero help after that. It's a push-off.
Beverly got away with it, perhaps, and he scored over Alvarado, who is pleading his case to Nathan Farrell. Still doing so as he makes his way up the floor.
He's got a beef.
Beverly trying to wall up DeVoe. Nice patience from DeVoe, who's got a half dozen.
Beverly and DeVoe right now struggling to keep Alvarado and Beverly and Wong struggling to keep DeVoe and Alvarado just out of lane. And that was one of the keys to this game is got to keep him out of the lane.
Jim Larinaga said we're not going to keep him out 90% of the time, but maybe we can do it 60% of the time. How big has Rodney Miller been for Miami so far?
It's been huge. And great patience he's shown on the block, and he's using both hands very adeptly.
Averages 7.5, and he's got 6 so far. Hard hedge from Stone on Alvarado. More confusion, but Alvarado gave it away. Beverly blocked by Wright. They're fired up on the.
You got to get madman, Moses. You got to get a kill right here. Got to get a kill. This game's all about energy, man. This is an energy game. We got to be energy givers. All about energy. Yeah.
Josh Pastner told us that one had a great start. He's had a great start. You talk about this is an energy game. They've played with energy on both ends. And getting a kill is getting 3 straight stops. They track that as many teams in college basketball do. That's how you win games. When you can string together stops, you can put together offense at the other end. Your defense helps your offense. It allows you to make runs. That's why they track it.
Harlan Beverly, short on the jumper. Saved by Wong. Shot clock done. Reset. And Beverly hammers it home.
You don't always see the shot clock beat by a dunk like that.
Going up with the left hand down the lane.
Miami now into a 2-3 zone. So how does the zone team then attack a changing defense in itself? Right to the middle. Moses Wright pushed off, got away with it.
Miller called for a walk on the deck. How about this? Harlan Beverly right down the lane.
Heads up. Alvarado, DeVoe, love that. DeVoe goes, look out of the way. Usher went up top. DeVoe said, nothing I can do here.
Well, remember last game for Miami, Beverly had a breakaway in South Bend against Notre Dame. He missed the dunk. Went up for it with the right hand. No problem with it this time for him.
That should be backcourt, and Mark Schnurr waited a second. And he's right. He's just playing to Josh Pastner because Banks actually controlled the ball. It's one thing if it's tipped. It can be tipped off guys, but Banks controlled it and threw it to the backcourt for Alvarado to retrieve. That is the definition of a backcourt violation.
Saw Josh Pastner talking with his bench about it. We might hear what he just had to say at some point later on. And so it gives Miami possession, now down by 7, getting late in this first half.
I like the switch to go to zone. Georgia Tech did attack it right away in the right manner, although they turned it over just because they couldn't complete the pass, but they moved quickly to adjusting to it.
Beverly was left wide open, and Wong follows up his classmate's miss.
Evan Cole, my man, you got to put a body on somebody. You got to turn and look. He just turned around like he was going to walk up there and just get the rebound. Wong jumped right past him.
It's a little 6-0 burst for the Canes, and they're back within 5. Cole on the feed from Usher.
He said, shut up, announcer, man. Usher driving baseline. He's been really good operating on that baseline. Cole finding space, throwing it down, and one. Great job. Now that's where Wong's got to, he's got to rotate inside his body. Wong was just standing behind him. Rotate, put your body, your hand in front of that, knock that pass away. You may not get the steal, but you get a deflection, you save a dunk. That's where the next evolution is for those young guys. Recover the body, how to help the helper, those type of things.
Yeah, you like the rotation from Beverly earlier, but this time Miami a bit too slow defensively. Miller picked up his second. He comes to the bench.
On that note with Beverly, remember though, he was one step behind. He wanted to meet him outside. That was a great block. So that was great, but he should have been one step further. It's that recognition and then executing immediately. No lag time.
Good find for Wardenberg with a line drive triple that misses. Usher only knows one gear. Finds Banks.
Usher's really passing the ball well today. Had his head up the whole time. What a steal by Alvarado.
Stone swats it.
Watch Usher's, he never looks down. He goes behind his back. His head's always up. He knows where Wright's going to be. Banks is going to be, slips right in that spot, throws it down.
And it was Jose Alvarado who picked it off the inbound. Keith Stone rejected Alvarado's shot.
I mean, just a few seconds ago, you said it was a 5-point lead. Miami had a 6-0 spurt. This is a critical last 4 minutes. Who can either, if Georgia Tech can extend this lead or keep it in the double digits, or can Miami give a little spurt into break? Doesn't look good right now for the Canes as Banks is down there.
After a Cole follow to stretch it to a dozen. And we'll take a timeout with 3:59 to go in this. Presented by New York Life. To help benefit the local boys and girls clubs, you can score points for your school, and after the tournament, the local boys and girls club will receive a donation from New York Life based on their affiliated ACC team's final ranking. So Dallin Cup, Mike Monaco, 4 minutes to go in the first half, and you said down, real critical stretch coming up here for Miami and for Georgia Tech. Can they stretch it? Can they maintain it headed to halftime?
Yeah, Miami's obviously struggled to score only 20 points. Their season low for the first half is 24 points. They've been good at scoring the basketball this year. Wong again active on the offensive glass. It's been the defensive issues they've had. Right now, Wong's a lid on there.
Almost all of the scoring has come from Wong, Beverly, and Miller. All but 2 of the points for Miami has come from that group of 3.
In that 2-3 zone. Finding the gaps. Good pass by Usher again. It's a little bit low, so Alvarado couldn't get the shot off.
And Roger Ayers calls a 3-second call against Georgia Tech. Hey, our next lacrosse game is right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. Next Saturday at noon, number 5 Notre Dame in South Bend off a battle today in College Park, going up against number 14 Denver in a series that has had some huge matchups, including in the NCAA tournament.
Is there anything Monaco Mike is not well versed in? Baseball, lacrosse, hoops, football?
You know, fencing was on the ACC network last weekend. That is,
you were probably calling
not my wheelhouse. A turnover from Wong in Miami.
Their offense has been disjointed, but you give the credit Georgia Tech. Defensively, they've been very good in their zone or their man, making it difficult for Miami.
Remember, it was a 5-point game, as you said, and then a quick swing and a 7-0 run since for Georgia Tech. Usher has distributed so well. Cole nearly followed, and he draws a foul.
Man, Evan Cole has been ultra aggressive in this game, attacking the rim, giving good minutes. He was trying to get the ball in that high post. When he didn't get it, and Usher drove, crashed that glass.
Cole was big last Wednesday against Wake Forest when James Banks was in some foul trouble. All right, so our game summary to this one, if you had your eyes in Charlottesville before we got this one started. 13 points between Banks and DeVoe, and Miami's had balance, and it's been the youth getting them going scoring-wise. Wong. Poked away by DeVoe. On the run out, DeVoe lays it in. And a timeout for Jim Larinaga.
This is 25-20. It seemed like it could be a game. But this is the kind of response you want from a Georgia Tech team playing at home. It's won 4 straight home games here. This is good help and good defense by Alvarado, just slapping down. And then as the ball popped up there, DeVoe was on it, knocked it out of Rodney Miller's hands. Good finish past Wardenberg. And they're in command of this game right now. This is what the changing defenses also affect. And Pastor, we were talking about this a bit with him. When you call that timeout, you want to set up, get your team in an opportunity to offensively execute, get a big basket. Problem is you don't know what defense they're going to run. The most teams you play, you know they'll be in a man, and you draw one thing up. Okay, guys, if they're in a man, we're going to run this. If they're in the 1-3-1, they're going to run this. But remember, the 1-3-1 sometimes molds into a 2-3. Sometimes it's a 1-1-3. You just don't know, so it's really hard to draw up a play and have your guys just go out and execute in a key moment.
It's not just a binary decision. There's a lot more to it. Another turnover, and Usher draws a foul. Jim Larinaga not happy with Isaiah Wong.
And it's the two freshmen just totally crossed up. And Wong was just unaware that I thought he thought it was a 5-on-0 drill. They just forgot there were also the defense out there. He just literally turned, showed him the ball. And Jim Larinaga was upset because he was supposed to throw the ball to Harlan Beverly, never did that. That was a comedy of errors.
And Wong's 4th turnover himself. And I know you've been tracking Miami's turnovers. Typically a team that doesn't turn it over a whole lot. Usher picked that one. Miami's given it away 10 times.
That's what they do well. They're top 25 in the nation in terms of their offensive turnover rate. The percentage at which they turn the ball over is very low. They take care of it. Conversely, Georgia Tech's been terrible at it all year. They're in the bottom 100 in terms of their turnover rate, but today's been pretty solid.
You can see some restraint there from Jim Larinaga as Isaiah Wong walked by. Trying to send the message to his freshman guard. So Vasiljevic back in, he and Likes in the backcourt with McGusty. And Alvarado steps in front of Likes and lays that in.
And Likes has not been himself in this game. He didn't get them in stuff when it was a 1-3-1 early on. He's played on his heels, and that was the lackadaisical pass from a guy that's just a much better player than him.
He came down with a little turf toe issue last game for Miami in South Bend on Sunday, but Jim Larinaga assured us that was no issue, and he practiced this week. McGusty drives and scores for his first points.
Great use of his body to get his shoulder into Moses' right body and extend that ball pass so the shot blocker could not block the shot.
Against the zone. Usher nearly followed. Second effort, no. A third try, and Usher with a chance at 3. Wow.
You heard Josh Pastner talking about an energy game. They are playing with more energy, more activity, and more will. He just runs by again. McGusty doesn't block out, runs right by him. He's able to stick with it, get the and one. They've had multiple turnovers that were just gifted to them because they're playing hard. Miami's not.
You could say it's harder for Miami to rebound in his zone, but that's effort, right?
That's effort and awareness. You got to know a guy's behind. You got to identify and put a hand on him, body on him.
Vasiljevic, no. With the lead at 18, Georgia Tech wants more headed to halftime. Usher thought about it. Why not? He missed it short.
The right decision at first. I was about to praise him and say, smart move. Less than a minute. You don't need that shot. Get a good one. And then he rethought it and said, I'm going to chuck this. Didn't anymore.
Now in the final minute, what can Miami get going offensively with Georgia Tech on a 15-2 run? Nearly another turnover. And Likes with his first points. He's had just one combined three-point make. Nearly a second from Alvarado. Likes off the bounce. Back out McGusty. Rebound right. Final seconds. And he leaves it short. How about that for a first half for Georgia Tech here at home?
Did everything they wanted to do. They've gotten downhill with Bo and Alvarado. The two lead guards have gotten in the paint, created for themselves, their teammates. 28 paint points without a dominant post player. And defensively, they are owning the game on both ends right now.
They close it on a big run and lead by 16. We'll send it back to the studio for the halftime.
Telling them all the right things, but are they actually going out there and executing them? The answer is no. We want to attack the changing defense, play aggressively. They've been on their heels. Want to be locked in defensively. We want to keep them out of the paint. Haven't done that. Haven't played with energy. We'll know real quick where they're going to go in the first 4 or 5 minutes. If they cut it this lead, we've got a game. If it goes the other way, it could get real ugly quick. Oh, boy.
13 seconds, and Jose Alvarado with 2 at the rim.
He didn't pass the ball. He didn't need to. Likes was bodying him, but then where's the help? Again, it's not just one-on-one defense. Likes, yes, should have done better, but where is anybody else stepping up to stop him or show in the gap so he doesn't even think he can get to the rim at the first place?
And now this shape-shifting Georgia Tech defense that is challenging to size up if you're on offense. DJ Vasiljevic misfires after a scoreless first half. Usher off the bounce.
Moses right, get it moving, man.
He'll move it himself. Now finds Alvarado. Nice dump off for Banks, and Sam Wardenberg went up to meet him. Likes. Still quiet. There was not a whole lot from Likes, Vasiljevic, and McGusty, your top 3 Miami scorers.
Well, you see, you started with the veterans, though. McGusty's in the game. You got Likes and Vasiljevic back in the mix. So you got the upperclassmen versus Wong and Beverly. See if these guys can lead them, particularly on the defensive end, turn this thing around.
And they've gone away from Wong and Keith Stone. Shot clock at 5. Right. Left hand, no. Banks with it, and a fresh 20. Usher turned it over. Nice pass by Vasiljevic, and Wardenberg's going to the line.
Nice job by Wardenberg to run the floor to get the opportunity, but this is how they set the tone coming out of the break. You see him bodying him up, and as he goes baseline, look, McGusty turns his back. McGusty should be getting that baseline side, helping, doing something. Nobody else is stepping over. Wardenberg on the weak side. Nobody made any movement. It's 5 guys guarding 1. It's not 1 guy guarding 1. They're not 5 different one-on-one matchups and one-on-one games being played.
Sam Wardenberg, the redshirt junior from New Zealand, coming off the bench the last 4 games. It's been defense, and that's been the story of the last couple of seasons for Miami.
And they got guys that can score it, but can you guard? Are you willing to guard? Which is really more than half the battle.
Alvarado and Likes. It's a fun matchup of point guards, and Alvarado falling away.
See, when you have a big get switched onto a little, get switched onto a big, we say mouse in the house. That was mice in the house. We had a mouse against a mouse, and Alvarado won.
And he was barking at Likes coming up the court, too. First bucket for DJ Vasiljevic. Alvarado feeling good about himself as he got a step on Likes, but then he lost it. Likes a blur, stripped by Alvarado. Miami wants a foul.
From our angle, it looked like a foul, but we couldn't see the opposite side of the ball.
Alvarado out of control. Likes. That spins out on him. Man, just a tough go of it for Miami tonight. Miller and Banks jockeying, and Banks with the left.
That was a good decision by Alvarado. I thought he was going to chuck the 3. The prior 2 possessions, he was just playing too fast. There, he fed it inside. Good finish by Banks.
Miller got off to a fast start for Miami. Good interior passing, and Wardenberg will shoot a pair at the line.
Of mice and men here in the post, doing their thing. 2 point guards, Alvarado will spin. And now this is what you see, the big fellas getting in there, using their bodies. Banks able to get to that left hand, straight up over Miller. Finish.
Is that some airplane reading for you on the way down here?
Living off the fat of the land.
Is that Lenny?
Lenny, yeah. Lenny, well, sad ending for Lenny. For those literary people.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Didn't end well for my man Lenny.
If you thought in the second half you were going to get a book report,
So we're here, Liturgy Humanities broke out in the middle of the Georgia Tech-Miami game.
Another trip to the line for Wardenberg, and this time he makes both.
I like Likes picking up full court. He got Alvarado to speed up and turned him over. Just give a different energy to this Hurricanes team.
He's trying to change anything coming out of halftime.
Good activity by Wardenberg there to help out on the screen and then come back, recover, and take the charge. He's given really good minutes in these first 4.
Inserted into the second half starting lineup for Miami. A couple of quick fouls on Moses Wright.
And key for Tech here is not to rest on your laurels. You got these guys down double digits at home. You've got to put them away.
Likes so speedy around the corner, but he missed another. DeVoe, a transition 3.
What a massive five-point swing. I mean, Likes has missed 3 shots in this half. He almost always makes. They were all 3 layup attempts, essentially. And then you get 2 points, 3 points the other way. Big swing of 5.
Largest lead in this one. Miller draws a foul, and we'll go to the line on the other side. 20-point game in these first 4.5 minutes out of the break.
Alone, setting the tempo for this game.
We heard Josh Pastner talk about energy. We've heard him talk a lot about defense, too, and they've been great in that regard as well.
Yeah, and again, the changing defenses have affected this game, but they've been good in regardless of what defense they've been in. They've communicated, they've talked, they've been very active. Good performance so far by them.
What do you make of their season and where they're at right now? 8-9 in the ACC. They've played better recently. Josh Pastner said we should be judged on what we've done when we've had our full team available.
Yeah, I mean, Jose Alvarado essentially missing 9 games early in the season. Tough for Likes there. He looked like he might have beat him to the spot. You can take a charge if there's contact created by the offensive player. But Alvarado missed about 9 games. And this guy, he's the guy that makes them go. DeVoe's their leading scorer. But without Alvarado to set the table for his teammates, for himself, and make everybody's life easier, that team really suffered. He also sets the tempo for them defensively as well. So him being in the lineup is critical. The thing that is interesting is they still have that appeal hanging out there for some violations in terms of their not being able to play in postseason play. That would include the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. That was supposed to be enacted this year, but they appealed that. So as of now, they're still playing in the tournament. That said, if I'm Josh Pastner, if I'm Georgia Tech, take the appeal away.
Right.
Just because they're not going to make the tournament, the NCAA tournament, unless they win every game in the ACC, which I don't think they're doing. But with everybody coming back and the talent they have, they should be a tournament team next year. So just take the appeal away, give your guys hope for next year would make total sense to me.
Right, the way it works, penalties under appeal are not enforced until the appeals process is over, which it is not over right now for Georgia Tech. Auguste slicing, and he got the roll. And then Jim Larinaga takes a timeout.
And Pastor told us he's not involved. This is the AD and president level decision, so he's just coaching his team. Well, to the president, the AD, fellas, take that appeal off the table.
Coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, hot off the press, Tulsa, obviously everybody impacts everybody. So Tulsa winning, they now are the automatic qualifier of the American. That has since knocked NC State out. And NC State obviously losing today does not help them. And winning, they won today, but it doesn't help them because of other things around them. So they're the first team out of the tournament according to the brackets. Virginia 9 seed. The thing that's interesting too is those top 3 teams, Duke and Louisville are the 11 and 12 seed overall. Those are the last 2-3 seeds. And then in terms of FSU, they are now the 8th team, so they are the last number 2 seed. Basically what I'm saying is for the ACC, you're not looking at a 1 seed, and you may not be maybe looking at just 1-2 seed right now. Duke has the best 1 seed resume, but they've lost 3 of 4, and those losses, I don't think their resume is not on par. Even though Baylor lost today with Kansas or Baylor or even Gonzaga or San Diego State at this point. So overall, I think we're looking at 1 or 2 seeds at best out of this conference. Most likely a 2 and 2 threes in Virginia. Those 4 are locks, folks. They're going. I hate to tell you, I don't think NC State is going to get in at the end of the day.
And you're saying it's probably for NC State would need a huge win coming down the stretch, and otherwise everyone else is looking at needing to win in Greensboro.
Yeah, exactly. I think NC State needs to, they get to play Duke on the road. That's a really tough game. I don't think they necessarily win that game, but they're getting Duke when they're struggling, so it could work out for them.
We have gotten a little helter-skelter here, and a foul goes on Likes. Speaking of those teams at the top, number 11 Louisville, 14-4 in the ACC. They host Virginia Tech tomorrow, 6 Eastern, right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. We were talking about Duke. They were a 2 seed at the outset of the day, according to Joe Lunardi, but the loss down in Charlottesville has changed that.
And obviously, again, it's not just the results of the teams. It's all the other teams around them, folks, and how they're performing as well. Seton Hall had a great win on the road at Marquette. And other things like that affect who moves around these lines.
Providence made a huge jump today in the Big East.
They won 5 games against top 25 teams in the month of February.
But Gusty lays it in. It's down to 14 now for Miami.
Good energy from Miami the last couple possessions. I liked out of that timeout. They went with a press. Again, make Georgia Tech play a little faster. Give your team a little more life.
Evan Cole now gives it up. Long 2, that's not his shot.
It's a bad possession. No ball movement. Cole needs to give it up, and Alvarado's got to have the ball in his hands, especially with this group of people on the court.
But Gusty draws another foul. Get it on Jose Alvarado, and that's his first.
Something to note, though, that's their 16th foul for Tech already, so the next foul is going to put them in the bonus. And this is a Miami team that shoots it from the free throw line very well, 76%. So you do not want to give a team that's struggling a little bit to score opportunities at the line.
It's been a huge message recently from Josh Pastner to his team. We've got to defend without fouling, and it's not just a message for James Banks. Like spinning and scoring over Parham. Looks at his bench, tells him, all right, calm things down, we're in this.
They are in this, and you're right. Defending without fouling is part of being a really good defensive team. Tech is a good defensive team, but that is their one bugaboo, if you will, is putting teams on the line. Their defensive free throw rate not good.
Nice rotations that time from Miami defensively. And Wright had it roll up. Gusty wants to use the size advantage, but Parham stripped him. Jim Larinaga is taking the coat off as Alvarado lays it in.
It's a huge play again. That's a big swing. You've got to mismatch with Parham, but you've got to be strong with the ball and aware. That leads to a quick 2 points just as you're building some momentum.
18 points off turnovers for Georgia Tech. Vasilovic got a good look at it. Alvarado stripped. Gusty. And the foul. Momentum for Miami on the road here in Atlanta.
All about defense. Keep playing your tails off.
And it looks like it's a game-specific kill board. I believe that was the Hurricane logo on the kill board there as they try to get their 7.
Well, FedEx Kinko is working out here for them, it seems. But you heard him talk about the rounds. A lot of coaches do that, too. They break down the game in a 10 4-minute rounds with immediate timeouts for 16, 12, 8, and 4, a chance to regroup and break things down. That last round was, he said we won the last round. He was talking about the 20 to 16-minute mark. The 16 to 11:38 mark was absolutely Miami. They've gotten back into this game. Georgia Tech gets DeVoe back on the court, gets Usher, their starting 5 back. And again, when they're 1 through 5, they can compete with anybody in this league. Their depth is a bit of a problem. So these 5 guys have to carry them, and they've been great offensively throughout this game.
Right spinning. That one rolled off, but Banks is there. Now hang on a second. It was up there on the cylinder. So wave it off for James Banks.
In real time, it looked good from our angle, but we're on the opposite side of the court. That's tough. I think that's a good call.
Roger Ayers spotted it. Mark Schnurr as well.
Any part of the ball still above the cylinder obviously extends from the rim all the way to the roof.
Tough drive in the roll for Keith Stone, and it's down to single digits.
Miami executing offensive, getting better looks, playing together as a group, and most importantly, taking care of the ball a little more in this half.
It's a 20-point Georgia Tech lead after that first round out of halftime. Right, offensive foul.
He's got to be smarter than that. He's made a number of those decisions. Get it reversed to Alvarado and let your playmakers make plays. He's not a playmaker. Good little fake handoff. Put him in jail there. Good finish by Stone, and now Stone sliding his feet. And again, when it's your primary defender, if the offensive player puts that shoulder or pushes off with his arm, that is an offensive foul. Stone giving really good minutes here.
So right to the bench, he's got 3 fouls. And yeah, you mentioned Stone. Jim Larrañaga has really praised the work that he's done defensively for this team since he's been healthy. 13-2 Miami run in the last 5 minutes. Vasiljevic. Rebound Wardenberg. He had it stripped to Alvarado. And Wardenberg commits the foul.
And you saw Alvarado and Usher just make eye contact. The play was the lob. Alvarado saw it from about just when he crossed half court. Maybe it's the point in the game, only being up 9 a little tighter, because I'll tell you what, 6 minutes ago, he would have thrown that for sure. We might have seen some fireworks, if nothing else. I think he can connect that pass, and it's an easy layup. About 7 steals, active hands by Alvarado.
Man, remember, he had 9 in the win over NC State right here at McCamish Pavilion. Alvarado. Nope. Rebound Vasiljevic.
Miami's just competing better. 3 guys were hustling for that rebound.
Likes got it to go. First made 3 for Miami comes 30 minutes into the ball game. Parham on the pull-up, no. A 6-point margin. Alvarado clangs into Vasiljevic, and a foul.
That's the right call by Mark Schnurr. He did make a lot of contact. But this on the other side, just too easy. Chris Likes is able just to step in comfortably. Look how far DeVoe is, hands down, and he's inside the 3-point arc. Likes is one of the more electric scores in this league. This game has really turned on its head in a quick fashion. And Georgia Tech's been complicit in their own demise a bit offensively. Bubba Parham taking an 18-foot contested shot with 15 seconds of shot clock. Bad shot. Moses Wright trying to drive. Bad decision. You got to play together, use each other. This is a talented team, but there's a couple playmakers and guys that got to play off those dudes, and you got to do it the right way.
Remember, it's not just the bonus for Miami. I mean, this is 9 Georgia Tech fouls with 9:13 left. And Vasiljevic, who is such a good free throw shooter, splits.
He's been in quite a shooting slump. He's down to 29% from three-point line in league play. This is a guy that shot it at 41% last year, led the league. Talking to the coaches, say it's just a slump. He's shooting it well in practice, particularly this week. Maybe he'll break out. Heads up.
There was the lob. Usher had to adjust while he was up there.
He just didn't get a clean grab on it. His jump didn't look like it was as explosive as normal, but in the first half, that would have found a way to go in.
Looks like Likes is starting to feel it. On the kick out for Stone. Arm the rebound. For Usher. Vasiljevic. And a foul goes against Tech.
The foul was actually on the ground. Long really kind of just bodied him up. And then when they slapped it out, that was clean. It was the body though. Vasiljevic, take a look. He's trying to lead the break. That's the foul with the body. Kind of stepped into him, hip checked him a bit. At this point, it doesn't matter. It's too freaky.
Yeah, either way. said it, a shooting slump recently for Vasiljevic, who is an 88% free throw shooter for his career. He's good on the first. Well, we told you that was the first made three when Likes hit that pull-up. And part of the struggles, especially in ACC play for Miami. Vasiljevic makes both. So now Georgia Tech, last 7.5 minutes, they have turned it over 5 times, and they're just 1 of 10 from the floor.
It's been a problem for them all year. Their turnover rate is bottom 50 in the nation. They turn it over on 23% of their possessions almost. They were better about it today, but that's the bad time to go behind your back right there.
Likes ripped it away. Off the fake, gets it to go! Are you kidding me? A little Rajon Rondo from Chris Likes.
How about that finish? Now, see, you never go behind your back in that situation where 3 guys are collapsing on you. Likes makes him pay, and then whoop! Takes the hit. English from the little fella. My wife's favorite player in college basketball. All 5'7" of them making plays.
Now, that is a time to fake going behind your back at the other end if you're Chris Likes.
Usher didn't bite on it at all. It just didn't matter, though. But this is a whole different game. And this crowd right now, there's a level of tightness in this building that is being played out on the floor as well by the team in white.
Again, this was a 20-point margin. And it was a fast start to the second half for Georgia Tech. Usher can't answer. And Miami can take the lead. Likes on the pull-up. Got it! All the way back from 20 down.
And that was keyed off a bad shot. Usher is a 19% three-point shooter. He takes a quick shot on wide-eyed right now and making plays. And one, stepping into a 3 here. Parham's hands are down. I mean, he has exemplified this turnaround, but again, Georgia Tech complicit in their own demise. They're shooting 29% from the field in the second half with 10 turnovers. Miami's defense, they've been better, but Georgia Tech has really forced a lot of bad positions, made bad decisions, and Miami's been able to get out and score 10 points off those turnovers. And Mr. Monaco Mike next to me made a good point that Chris Likes is playing with a little hop in his step right now. He's got a lot of confidence right now.
That is the run in total. Now, however, Likes just picked up a foul, and that's his 4th.
He's pointing back at Jim Larinaga and said, hold on, I'm good, I'm good. But he's got to be real smart because he cannot sit on the bench right now the way he's playing.
But yeah, isn't there just no surprise in the pull-up 3 for Chris Likes? When he's feeling it, that's the shot he wants.
And you have to give ground a little bit if you're Parham because
right?
Likes is so electric
so
and
fast. Alvarado bumped him. Can't score it. And Likes the loose ball. And a whistle underneath.
I think Alvarado got away with a push-off, in all honesty, as he's struggling right now to get up.
Yeah, they got the foul on Keith Stone.
Wait, that's not... Yeah, they're calling it on the tip dunk attempt by Banks.
James Banks at the line, shooting 2.
Now it's 3 on Stone. Banks 63% at the line. Good on the first. Nothing but net every Sunday is our weekly basketball studio show. It's a look back at the past week, including all the craziness today, and a look ahead to next week as well. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. It's a split for Banks, and it does stay at this end of the floor.
A couple big whistles for them. Like I said, I thought Alvarado got away with a little bit offensive foul. They get kind of a questionable call where Banks to go to the back, go to the free throw line, then the right call, but a tight one to keep the ball. Just Miami's building momentum. This is an important series of possessions here for Georgia Tech.
They put it in the hands of DeVoe. Turned into a double again, and now it's a foul that goes on Miami.
They're doing a good job this half of forcing DeVoe to his right hand. You see how they're forcing them right, driving to traffic. They're collapsing on their guys as they are getting in the lane. They have really attacked them, and they've not made, they being the Georgia Tech guards, quick decisions to get rid of the ball. A number of turnovers as Canes are swarming them in the paint.
And in the last 30 seconds of game action, Chris Lykes and Keith Stone both with 4. And both on the Miami bench. Defoe draws another foul, this one on McGusty.
Both teams in the bonus, and this is about to become a free throw shooting contest, it seems. It is a physical game. A couple of quick whistles, and now both teams in the bonus. Miami in the double bonus.
Another look at it. Defoe good on the first. We said it earlier, Miami is an excellent free throw shooting team, 76%, second in the ACC. Georgia Tech, meanwhile, 67%, one of the worst in the conference.
Man, it's still Georgia Tech ball. Back-to-back on offensive rebounds off missed free throws.
A possession that just will not die for the Yellow Jackets. Now can they capitalize on it? Parham. No.
Those run as a player, you just exhale. Man, we just dodged a couple bullets there.
all here at McCamish Pavilion. What was once in this half even a 20-point Tech lead. Vasiljevic somehow kicks it out. Shot clock winding down. McGusty guarded by Alvarado. And off the fingertips of Miller.
Jim Larinaga arguing with Roger Ayers, it should have been a foul there. I think he has a beef. Alvarado had a lot of contact in that drive.
Alvarado himself playing with 3 fouls. Georgia Tech has only scored 13 points since halftime. Alvarado probing. Wong stayed down and Alvarado scores anyway. And Chris Lykes getting ready to come back in for the Canes. McGusty couldn't get it over Banks, but on the second effort, back iron. And last touch by Parham.
That's what Alvarado does so well, is just probing the defense, continuing to work and try to find seams, angles, lanes. He did a great job in the first half. Canes have done a much better job in swarming the ball, but he's able to step through Wong's body, get to that left hand and flip it up.
Parham did a great job denying Lykes. Now McGusty finally gets this one to go to tie it up. Alvarado jacked down one quickly.
It's been a theme all half. They've just settled for so many shots that you don't need to settle for.
Only made 6 shots from the floor. 16 minutes since halftime. Wardenberg. Lykes coming to get it. Rises. And he draws a foul. That guy might draw more fouls on jump shots than anyone in the country.
Right, Parham stepped underneath him. That was a good call. See a look at McGusty getting in the lane, jump stop it on 2, spinning away. Third time's a charm. He had two shots in possession before to get shots in that same area to fall, couldn't get it down. That one goes.
10 of those 12 since halftime for Lykes. Too strong on the first.
Never looked good. Off the moment to let go of his palm. He's got to finish with 10 toes into the floor, flick that wrist, hold that follow.
Good on the second of 3.
Substitution number 1, DJ
Vasiljevic back for McGusty. 2 out of 3 for Chris Likes. And Josh Pastner will take a timeout. What a swing it has been in the second half here at McCamish Pavilion. Miami was down by 20.
Open man's the go-to man. Okay? Come on. Come on. It's a ball game, guys. We can't look dejected. Let's go. Let's go. You got to snap out of it.
Yeah, that's the message from Josh Pastner. The 20-point lead is gone. It's Miami up by 2 with 4 to go here in Atlanta. Dallin Cup, Mike Monaco, our ACCN crew, and our game summary in this one. Told his team to move it. DeVoe gave it up, and Wright short.
Good effort by Wright, though. That's what they were doing in the first half, just outworking him.
Banks underneath, is blocked by Wong. That is Isaiah Wong at 6'3", going up to challenge, but he got the foul against him.
That was an impressive recovery by Wong, saving maybe with the body, because that from the... That's a tough one. That's tough if you're a Canes fan. I mean, I'll tell you what. You heard Josh Pastner saying, I've been in games on both points. When you're up by 20, and all of a sudden you're in a battle again, it is hard to snap out of it. There's a level of, I can't believe we're dealing with this. We were rolling, what changed? And there's a little bit of shell shock. Conversely, on the other side, you feel like $1 million. You're like, we're back in this thing. We got the momentum. We're going to win. We're on the road. You feel great. So you have to battle it mentally and emotionally and find a way to have some sparks. That was a great job by Moses Wright to keep the play alive and get them at least 1 point in that transaction there when it should have been a Canes rebound.
And Wright's been diving everywhere. He's been trying to bring some juice with Miami on this sustained run.
You also heard Pastner say, move the ball, which they have not done. It's been stagnant in the second half.
Wong on the drive. Rolled back out, and who else is there but Moses Wright with it? DeVoe. McGusty stays right with him. Now Banks on Miller. And a foul on Rodney Miller.
You see Chris Likes saying, don't put your arms down, because he can wall up and go straight up and down, the rule of verticality. He has the space straight up and down from the floor to the ceiling. As soon as you break that plane and you're now at an angle downward toward the defender, offensive player, that's going to be a foul.
Banks 3 of 6 tonight. Good on the first. It's such a fine line we have seen between blocks, good interior defense, and trips to the free throw line on the flip side of it. Banks good on both. Target, and DeVoe keeps it in on the baseline. Arm aloft. Right underneath. Lays it in.
Good vision. Came off that side ball screen. They were kind of over-helping, both pinched up on the ball, and then the roll man leaving right behind. Sam Wardenberg is now down. Training staff will have to come out and check him out.
Redshirt junior big man from New Zealand who has dealt with a variety of issues this year. Right knee is in a bout of tendonitis. They're looking at the left leg here.
Take all the time you need, guys.
Got popped in the jaw recently during a shoot-around. Had to miss a game. Another look at what happened to Sam Wardenberg, left corner of your screen.
He stepped up to help on Banks on the roll man, and then he just gets landed on here. Both legs, unfortunately. Wardenberg's given great minutes. He was him and McGusty were 2 guys that started the second half but did not start the game. and they help change the game.
He just had a quick word for Keith Stone, who comes in to replace him, dealing with 4 fouls. Tell you what, that Miami training staff has been busy this year.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the force the fouls for Stone, and if Wardberg can't come back in, that becomes an issue for this Miami team down the stretch.
Not seeing Anthony Walker, another big man, a freshman from Baltimore tonight for Miami. Canes down by 3 with just over 2 left in regulation. But Gusty lost the handle.
Great job by DeVoe to slide his feet, get there to cut him off, force the turn back, and Banks was there with the help. Good team defense. They ran this set before. This last possession, they want to get a side ball screen for Parham. Here it comes.
Through the lob last time. Alvarado off the shot fake. 5 to shoot. Alvarado. And kept alive, and the rebounding, especially on the offensive end, has been huge for Georgia Tech.
They're bottom 3 in the league in defensive rebounding percentage, and it has bitten them today. These last 4 minutes, there's been multiple offensive rebounds and opportunities for Georgia Tech.
Alvarado blocked by Miller. Miami down 3. Mike stayed patient. Coming up on the final minute in the second half. Likes is blocked by Banks. Stone, no.
Now this shot clock differential, 15 seconds, it's a 3-point game. You're going to try to rely on your defense, or do you foul and extend the game? Let's see what Jim Larrañaga does here. The way they've been turning over the ball, I wouldn't mind running 2 at it like they just kind of did.
DeVoe muscles right through it. 5-point game.
That's just too easy, unfortunately. Long was all the way at half court. He's able to go around him. Nobody helps. Again, this kind of the flashback we saw in the first half. Stone just jumps up. I know he's got 4 fouls, but you've got to be more aggressive, be more of a deterrent to him getting the lane and finishing. And if you're going to, they were kind of caught in between 2 minds there. If you're going to try to get a stop, you just got to try to get a stop. You just got to set up and try to not allow them to score versus kind of pressing up what they hadn't done much in the half court. Kind of had 2 guys running the ball, so they're in between. And the indecision equal to layup for DeVoe.
So you're down by 5, 25 seconds to go, and there was great defense on this from Georgia Tech as well.
Great job by DeVoe to get there and cut him off. Banks reading the spin back, comes and gets the steal. That was big. And then this was huge. Up 3, Likes able to get by DeVoe, and then Banks comes over and erases it. Huge play by one of the best in the country in terms of protecting the rim.
We talked about the effort and how hard it is to snap out of a funk sometimes if you're Georgia Tech. The effort plays, the offensive rebounds alone, they've been there for the Yellow Jackets.
That's what's done it. You're absolutely right, Mike. It was the effort plays, the energy, those offensive boards in the last 5 minutes, giving them life, giving them opportunities to score, in which they capitalized. And some of them they didn't. But still, you feel better about your trip. You guys are working hard. Moses Wright, one of the key guys in that setting, to continue to try to make the effort plays to help them.
Josh Pastner's team at 8-9. Jim Larrañaga's at 6-11 in conference action. For Georgia Tech, they haven't been 500 in conference play since 2007.
That would be huge if they could achieve that. Also in a 20-game league schedule now, too, which is a new thing this year. And they can get to 10-10 or better. They've been playing almost exclusively man this second half. It looks like they're lining up in man again. I was wondering if you would see a zone just to help them burn some clock. But no, it's going to be straight man.
Alvarado picked up full on Likes.
Don't need a 3, but you do got to go quick.
Augusti couldn't get the 2. Loose ball. And Alvarado pulls it out of there. Getting the crowd going, and he's our player of the game, brought to you by Zaxby's.
So there's 7 steals, and there it comes up with a critical loose ball. He helped set the tempo for them offensively in the first half and defensively. Clearly had their struggles in the second half, but he made some key plays down the stretch.
And now a chance to try to put this one on ice. First trip to the line for him, 79%. And get the roll.
Some falling forward. Again, 10 toes into the floor, straight up and down. Hold that follow through. Still important to make this second one to get it to a 2-possession, 6-point game.
Splits. No timeouts for Miami.
Don't want to foul here. Make him make a shot.
Likes no. McGusty. Georgia Tech hangs on.
It was a wild game. It required some toughness. It's mental toughness. It didn't seem that way when everything was going their way. The Yellow Jackets lead with a W, and Jim Laranaga's crew, he turns and says to them, guys, you played the first 20 minutes like you played the second 20. We're flying back to Coral Gables with a W.
It was a 20-point game at one point. Georgia Tech wins it for Dallin Coffee.